The Duggars are returning to TV, but without Jim Bob. TLC is secretly filming a spinoff that will destroy the family empire. For years, we thought the final nail in the coffin of the Duggar television reign had been hammered in. Counting On was abruptly pulled from the air, the horrific scandals rocked the entire world, and Jim Bob Duggar's absolute iron-fisted control over his family's media presence seemed to vanish into thin air forever. We all watched as the ultimate reality television dynasty crumbled to the ground. But if you have been paying close attention to social media and putting the puzzle pieces together, a massive secret is unfolding right under our noses. Jill, Derek, and Ginger have been spotted hanging out together, and this is not just a casual, everyday family reunion. The rumors are swirling rapidly, and exclusive theories suggest that the cameras are already rolling. The ultimate rebellion is happening right now, and the patriarch is completely locked out. Welcome back to Jenny Expose, where we uncover the biggest secrets, the hidden truths, and the most shocking reality TV scandals you will not hear anywhere else. Before we dive into the explosive evidence of this highly secretive Duggar spinoff, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never ever miss out on the tea. To really understand the magnitude of what is happening right now behind closed doors, we have to travel back and look at the massive void that was left when TLC canceled Counting On. The network did not just lose a television show, they lost their biggest cash cow, a ratings juggernaut that had sustained them for over a decade. When the dark secrets of the eldest Duggar brother came to light, TLC was backed into a corner. Public outrage was at an all-time high, advertisers were fleeing, and the network had absolutely no choice but to sever ties with Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. Jim Bob, who had famously negotiated all the contracts and kept a tight grip on the finances, was suddenly stripped of his platform and his power. The silence from the network was deafening. Fans assumed that we would never see the Duggar family on television again, at least not under the TLC banner. But television networks are businesses, and businesses thrive on viewership and compelling storylines. Reality TV executives know exactly what the audience wants, and the TLC reality TV audience has been practically begging for updates on the specific family members who broke away from the toxic environment of the Institute in Basic Life Principles. If you look at the search trends right now, people are constantly typing in things like, "Is Counting On coming back?" and looking for news on a new Duggar show. There is a massive, untapped market for a redemption story. People do not want to see the old strict rules, the matching denim skirts, or the oppressive patriarchal control anymore. They want to see the survivors. They want to see the ones who walked away. This brings us to the most recent, earth-shattering development that has set social media is completely on fire. Just recently, photos surfaced on Instagram showing Jill, Derek, and Ginger spending quality time together. Now, on the surface, this might just look like siblings catching up, but in the highly calculated world of the Duggar family, who you associate with and what you post online is extremely deliberate. Jill and Ginger hanging out together is a massive statement. These two sisters represent the ultimate departure from Jim Bob's strict ideological empire. Jill and Derek were the first to really blow the whistle. They stepped away from the show, sought intense therapy, and famously sued to get the money they were owed for their years of filming. Jill even wrote a bombshell memoir detailing the immense pressure and emotional manipulation she faced under her father's roof. Ginger, on the other hand, moved all the way across the country to Los Angeles, started wearing pants, embraced a completely different lifestyle, and penned her own book about disentangling her faith from the extreme teachings of her youth. These two women are the poster children for breaking free. So when we see them smiling together, looking incredibly happy and liberated, it sends a shockwave through the fan base. But here is where the exclusive theories and social media whispers start to paint a much bigger, much more scandalous picture. According to eagle-eyed fans and various unconfirmed reports bubbling up on discussion boards, this hangout was not just a private family moment. There are widespread rumors that a camera crew was spotted in the vicinity during their get-together. Random sightings of professional production, equipment, and lighting setups have been mentioned by locals, leading to a massive theory that TLC is secretly testing the waters. Let us break down why this makes perfect sense. TLC knows that Jill and Jinger are the fan favorites right now. Their books were bestsellers. Their interviews go viral instantly. The public is deeply invested in their healing journeys. If TLC wanted to reboot the Duggar franchise without facing the wrath of the cancel culture mob, the only logical way to do it is to feature the Exiles. The premise: this rumored secret project is absolutely fascinating. Imagine a reality show focusing entirely on the kids who left the cult. A show that documents their struggles to adapt to the real world, their evolving marriages, how they are choosing to raise their own children without the fear-based rules they grew up with, and most importantly, how they navigate the incredibly strained relationship with their parents in Arkansas. We are talking about a completely different kind of reality show. This would not be about courting rules and side hugs. This would be a raw, unfiltered look at deconstruction and freedom. The stakes are incredibly high and the drama writes itself. Think about the tension. Every single time Jill or Jinger achieve something on their own, it is a direct blow to the narrative Jim Bob tried to build for decades. By allegedly secretly filming them, TLC is sitting on a goldmine of genuine emotional storytelling that completely cuts the patriarch out of the equation and out of the paycheck. Social media sleuths have been analyzing the backgrounds of recent photos posted by Derek and Jill, looking for any signs of production. While the family is being incredibly careful not to show any microphones or producers, the timing of their sudden increased visibility and collaborative hangouts is highly suspicious. Whenever former reality stars suddenly start having highly publicized aesthetic reunions, it usually means something is brewing behind the scenes. Network executives often order test shoots or pilot presentations to see if the chemistry is still there and to figure out the narrative arc before making a massive public announcement. If these exclusive theories hold true, TLC is pulling off the ultimate reality TV coup. They get to keep the built-in Duggar audience, capitalize on the massive search intent for a new show, and completely rebrand the franchise as a story of female empowerment and survival. It is the perfect redemption arc for a network that took a lot of heat for keeping the original show on the air for as long as they did. But while this sounds like a dream come true for the fans who have supported Jill and Jinger through their darkest times, it is an absolute nightmare for one specific person. Jim Bob Duggar has spent his entire adult life trying to control the image of his family. He controlled the money, he controlled the interviews, and he controlled the show. The idea that TLC, the very network that made him a millionaire and then publicly dumped him, is now secretly working with the daughters who exposed his secrets is the ultimate betrayal in his eyes. The power dynamic has completely flipped. He is no longer the gatekeeper. The Exiles are the ones with the power, the influence, and potentially the new television contracts. As we dig deeper into these rumors, we have to ask ourselves how far along this supposed secret filming really is. Are we looking at a few test scenes, or is there an entire season already being mapped out in a boardroom in Los Angeles or New York? The silence from TLC is standard operating procedure. They never announce anything until the ink is completely dry and they have enough footage to drop an explosive trailer. But the puzzle pieces are all there, sitting right in front of us. The strategic Instagram posts, the cross-country hangouts, the whispers of camera crews, and the undeniable fact that Jill and Jinger are currently the most profitable names in the Duggar universe. Things are heating up rapidly, and the implications of this secret spin-off go far beyond just a new television show. It is about a fundamental shift in the legacy of one of America's most controversial families. But what will this show actually look like? What will it be called? And how is Jim Bob preparing to fight back? Because if you think the patriarch is just going to sit back and let his daughters take over the network without a fight, you do not know the history of this family. As we dive back into the swirling vortex of these exclusive theories, we have to look at the rumored working title for this highly anticipated project. According to deep dives on social media and anonymous tips leaking from production circles, the name being tossed around the boardroom is an absolute dagger to the heart of the patriarch. We are hearing that TLC might be going with the title Duggar Exiles. Just let that sink in for a moment. Duggar Exiles. It is a powerful, unapologetic, and completely defiant name. It does not try to sugarcoat the situation with words like counting or family. It directly acknowledges that these women were pushed out, alienated, and ostracized for simply wanting to live their own authentic lives. If TLC actually moves forward with the name Duggar Exiles, it is a masterclass in marketing. It immediately tells the audience exactly what they are getting. We are not watching women baking bread and making tater-tot casseroles for an army of children while submitting to their husband's every demand. We are watching women who have been exiled from their own family compound because they dared to read books, wear jeans, send their kids to public school, and speak their minds. The contrast between the old show and this secret spin-off could not be more stark. Imagine the opening credits of Duggar Exiles. Instead of that cheerful, whistling theme song we were forced to listen to for over a decade, we get something a little more serious, a little more cinematic. We see Ginger walking the vibrant, busy streets of Los Angeles with Jeremy, a world away from the dirt roads of Tontitown, Arkansas. We see Jill and Derek sitting in their comfortable, modern living room, perhaps discussing a recent therapy session or setting boundaries with their extended family. The visual storytelling alone would be enough to break the internet. And according to the social media whispers, the producers are leaning heavily into this aesthetic of total liberation. But here is the retention beat that is keeping everyone glued to their screens and constantly refreshing their feeds. What happens when Bob Duggar finds out that his exiles are about to become the new faces of the network he used to rule? We all know that Bob does not just roll over and accept defeat. This is a man who allegedly used every legal loophole, every contract clause, and every manipulation tactic in the book to keep his family's money flowing directly into his own pockets. The idea that TLC is cutting him out completely is an ego blow of catastrophic proportions. Exclusive theories are running wild that Bob has already caught wind of these secret test shoots and is actively trying to shut the entire production down. Fans on discussion boards are speculating that he might be consulting with his team of lawyers right now to see if there is any way he can block the network from using the Duggar name in the title of the spinoff. Could he claim a trademark violation? Could he try to enforce some ancient, ironclad non-disclosure agreement that he forced his children to sign when they were teenagers? The legal battle behind the scenes of Duggar Exiles could be just as dramatic as the show itself. Think about the stakes here. Jill and Derek have already successfully sued Bob to recover a portion of the wages they were denied during their time on Counting On. They are not afraid of a legal fight. They know his tactics and they are immune to his threats. If Bob tries to slap TLC or his own daughters with a cease and desist letter, it will only add more fuel to the fire. In fact, reality TV producers love this kind of off-screen drama. A looming lawsuit from an estranged patriarch is exactly the kind of storyline that guarantees record-breaking ratings. Let us look closer at the strategy TLC might be employing here. By keeping the filming completely under wraps, they are essentially playing a massive game of chess with Bob. They are gathering their footage, building their narrative, and solidifying the contracts with Jill, Ginger, and their husbands before the Duggars. The patriarch can even mount a defense. Some social media commentators are pointing out that this level of secrecy is exactly what happened right before Jill released her explosive memoir, Counting the Cost. The book was a closely guarded secret until it was ready to hit the shelves, giving Bob no time to run a smear campaign or block its publication. TLC is taking a page right out of Jill's playbook, and this raises another fascinating question that is tearing the fan base apart. If Duggar Exiles becomes a reality, who else from the massive family might jump ship and join the cast? The dynamic between the siblings is incredibly fragile right now. You have the staunch loyalists who are still living on the compound and depending on Bob for their housing and income. But then you have the ones who are quietly teetering on the edge. Fans have been closely monitoring Joy-Anna's social media presence, noting that she has been slowly but surely distancing herself from some of the more extreme teachings of her parents. She has been seen wearing pants, spending time with Jill, and carving out her own identity on YouTube. Could Joy-Anna be a surprise cloud? In addition to Duggar Exiles, what about Josiah and Lauren, who have completely scrubbed their public profiles and vanished from the spotlight? Could this new, safer, Bob-free environment lure them back to television? The possibility of a mass exodus from the Duggar compound playing out on national television is the ultimate reality TV fantasy. It is the real-life Truman Show, where the subjects finally realize the walls of their world are fake, and they decide to break the door down. And TLC holds the keys. They know that every single time a sibling crosses the line and joins the exile group, the ratings will absolutely skyrocket. It is a brilliant, highly calculated move by network executives who are desperate to redeem their image and cash in on the massive public interest surrounding religious deconstruction. But we have to remember to view all of this through the lens of protecting our channel's credibility. These are, as of right now, unconfirmed reports driven by heavy social media sleuthing and exclusive theories from dedicated fans who track every move this family makes. However, where there is smoke, there is usually fire. And right now, the smoke billowing out of Arkansas and Los Angeles is impossible to ignore. The sudden influx of collaborative Instagram posts, the carefully worded captions about healing and moving forward, and the undeniable sightings of professional camera equipment around the Rebel sisters all point to one undeniable truth: something massive is in the works. As we process the gravity of Jim Bob potentially being blocked from TLC's new show, we have to consider the emotional toll this takes on Jill and Jinger. Stepping back into the reality television spotlight after everything they have endured is a massive risk. They both suffered incredible trauma while filming 19 Kids and counting on. Their most private, agonizing moments were broadcast for public consumption, all while they were told to keep sweet and smile for the cameras. Returning to the network that enabled their father's control is a highly controversial move. Some fans are expressing genuine concern, wondering if the money and the platforms are truly worth reopening those old wounds. But others argue that this is the ultimate power move. By taking control of their own narrative, producing their own storylines, and negotiating their own contracts directly with the network, Jill and Jinger are reclaiming the medium that was weaponized against them. They are taking the Duggar reality TV empire and reshaping it in their own image, an image of strength, transparency, and survival. It is the ultimate revenge against a system designed to keep them silent. This dynamic is exactly why search terms like Duggar new show are spiking right now. The public is hungry for justice. For years, viewers felt complicit in watching a family that was hiding dark, horrific secrets behind forced smiles and conservative modesty standards. Watching Duggar Exiles would feel like a collective sigh of relief. It would be a way for the audience to support the victims and cheer for their success, all while knowing that Jim Bob is sitting at home, completely powerless to stop the broadcast. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. As the rumors continue to escalate, we are all waiting with bated breath for that official press release or that leaked trailer. We are waiting to see the big red X over Jim Bob's face become a reality. But the story does not end here. The fallout from this secret filming is already starting to create shockwaves that could tear the remaining family completely apart. As sides are chosen and lines are drawn in the sand, the real drama is just beginning to unfold. You will not believe what the social media insiders are predicting will happen next, and how the network plans to handle the inevitable backlash from the conservative circles that still support the patriarch. As we enter the final, most explosive chapter of this unfolding drama, we have to look at the immediate, earth-shattering fallout that this secret filming is causing within the walls of the Duggar compound. The social media insiders and exclusive theories are pointing to a massive, unprecedented civil war brewing among the siblings. If TLC is truly moving forward with Duggar Exiles, the line in the sand has been officially drawn, and every single member of this massive family is being forced to pick a side. You are either with the patriarch or you are with the exiles. There is absolutely no middle ground left. According to whispers from locals and deep dive analyses of the family's online activity, the tension at the big house in Tontitown is at an all-time high. Jim Bob is reportedly holding emergency family meetings, trying to lock down the loyalty of the children who still depend on him financially. Think about the siblings who are still deeply entrenched in the Institute in basic life principles. You have the staunch loyalists, the ones who have never publicly stepped out of line. For them, Jill and Jinger's new television venture is not just a betrayal of the family name. It is viewed as a direct attack on their core belief system. Fans have been scrutinizing every single like, comment, and unfollow on Instagram, and the digital Cold War is undeniably real. We are seeing a complete lack of interaction between the rebel sisters and the golden children who remained under Jim Bob's thumb. Jessa, who was once inseparable from Jill and Jinger, has seemingly chosen to stay quietly aligned with her parents, maintaining a carefully curated, controversy-free online presence. The idea that her own sisters are now allegedly filming a multi-million-dollar spin-off that actively excluding their father must be a bitter pill to swallow. It completely shatters the illusion of the happy, united front that Jim Bob spent decades forcing them to project. But the most thrilling retention beat of this entire saga is the impending legal showdown. Will Jim Bob sue TLC? Will he actually drag his own daughters back into a courtroom to stop this show from airing? If we look at his track record, the answer seems like a terrifying yes. Jim Bob is a man who operates on control and intimidation. The exclusive theories circulating right now suggest that his legal team is scrambling to find any possible loophole, any ancient non-disclosure agreement, or any trademark infringement clause to slap the network with a massive injunction. He wants to kill Duggar Exiles before a single promotional trailer ever sees the light of day. However, Jim Bob is facing a formidable opponent, and it is not just the high-powered lawyers at TLC. He is going up against Derek Dillard. We cannot forget that Jill's husband is a law school graduate who has already successfully navigated the murky waters of Duggar contracts to get his wife the money she was rightfully owed. Derek knows where the bodies are buried. He knows exactly how Jim Bob structured those original TLC contracts, and more importantly, he knows exactly how to legally bypass them. Social media sleuths theorize that Derek has meticulously reviewed every single piece of paperwork for this new secret spin-off to ensure that Jim Bob has absolutely zero legal standing to interfere. This means that if Jim Bob tries to file a frivolous lawsuit to stop the production, it will blow up in his face spectacularly. In fact, a public legal battle is the absolute worst-case scenario for the patriarch. If he sues, it means discovery. It means putting his financial records, his emails, and his manipulative tactics back into the public record for the whole world to see. TLC executives are likely banking on the fact that Jim Bob is too terrified of further public exposure to actually pull the trigger on a lawsuit. They are calling his bluff, and the cameras are supposedly continuing to roll. But what about the backlash? TLC is fully aware that by greenlighting a show focused entirely on religious deconstruction and breaking away from a fundamentalist cult, they are going to anger the conservative, die-hard supporters who still defend Jim Bob and Michelle. There are still pockets of the internet that views the Duggars as victims of canceled culture. By platforming the Exiles, TLC is definitively cutting ties with that demographic. But from a business standpoint, the network has clearly done the math. The audience that wants to see justice, the audience that wants to see Jill and Jinger thrive, is massively larger and significantly more vocal than the remnants of Jim Bob's fan base. This brings us to the visual representation of this entire scandalous takeover. Picture the promotional thumbnail that will inevitably break the internet when this show is officially announced. The text screaming, "New show!" in bold, vibrant letters. And the visual payoff that fans have been waiting years to see. Jill and Jinger, standing together, smiling brightly, looking modern, liberated, and completely at peace. And right there, in the corner, a big, unmistakable, glaring red X, painted directly over Jim Bob Duggar's face. It is not just a YouTube thumbnail concept, it is the definitive symbol of his fallen empire. It signifies the end of an era and the destruction of a television dynasty built on secrets and lies.